today we're gonna talk about shading. But before I talk about how to do it on, for example, characters and stuff like that, I want to talk a little bit how it works. Shading is coming from the light source that we put out, that we know are in the scene or in the drawing, or a light source, maybe perhaps like a fire or something like that. Okay, so for instance, if we do, let's do a ball here, just a simple ball, okay, and we're gonna do like this. We're gonna copy it, boom, and move it over here, and we're gonna do a copy of that and move it over here. Okay, so now we have 3 balls, and let's pretend that they are standing on the same table. Okay, but for this instance, we're gonna have, well, let's do it like this. Let's remove these light sources. So let's say that we have a light source like this, and we have one that's a little bit closer and lower, and someone that is a little bit higher and up to the right. Okay, so the light source is shining down like this. All right, you can see the arrows. That's how the light source reaches. Okay, same thing for this. Light source goes past, hits a little bit, and then goes down there. Same thing here. It hits, goes down, and past. Okay, so now we have a round ball. Therefore, the shadow, the strongest shadow, is gonna hit somewhere around here. I'm not gonna do this very detailed, but you will get what I mean. So it hits there. Okay, so you get the shadow there. From this angle, it becomes a little bit more like this, and you get the shadow like so. From this angle, well, same thing here, it's round. So we have the shadow on the object. And remember, sometimes since we have a big light source here, it becomes from dark to lighter to lighter to lighter and to white. Same thing here. Going from very dark to a lighter color to almost disappearing. Okay? Just remember that. So now we have the shadow of the object, but the object also leaves a second shadow, and that's the shadow that comes on the floor. So here you see the light source goes around here, and this goes somewhere around to here. Okay, so we get a shadow like so. Now, why is the shadow formed like this? Well, the ball is round, so if we looked from above, right from above, this is the ball, the shadow would be something like this. Okay, and why? Well, it's because the light source isn't straight up ahead, it's a little bit to the right, so it's gonna push the shadow and stretch it to the side. So if we look at the light source that has it straight from above, you're gonna see that it becomes very, very small. Very small. And that's because the light goes straight down here, and for the most part when it's right above, it kind of curves a little bit and goes straight down. So you get only where the ball covers the ground, the shadow. Okay, and for here the same thing could be said around here. Goes way out there, hits somewhere around there, and we make a small shadow. Remember, the object has to stand on the shadow. Okay, so it can touch the shadow, because if you do a ball and you do the shadow kind of like this, it will look like it's hanging in the air. Maybe it's, you know, a still moment of it jumping, or if it's bouncing, or, you know, maybe it's a sphere that's, you know, in a sci-fi kind of story that's hovering above the ground. But as you can see, it's not attached to the ground. We can see it's not, you know, touching the ground because the shadow and the ball is not connected. So this is the simple, you know, clarification of how shadows work. The shadows hit, you know, an area, and from that it's gonna become bigger and bigger and darker. And sometimes like this. And now this is a little bit, you know, away from the ball. This one is a little bit closer. So a stronger shadow will become when the light source is closer to the object or the person. But if it's a, you know, longer away, far away, the shadow will become more lighter, not so, you know, sharp and dark, because the light isn't touching it too much. So this is the simple clarification, like I said, the simple explanation of how shadows work. For instance, if we remove this and do a new layer, for instance, if we do a quick character here, just to get a face. Let's see, we can do this, and I'm not gonna do too much on the eyes, just gonna do some simple eyes here and like so. Okay, and for instance, we're gonna do a quick nose. So if we have now, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna copy this layer and just put in some extra ones so you can see what I mean. For instance, let's do the first one with the light source from above. Okay, humans usually have the forehead, and then the eyes go kind of in like this, and then the nose goes out like so, and then you have the mouth and the jaw. Okay, so if we have light that goes down like this, we're gonna have somewhere around here, we're gonna get some shadow. Somewhere around here, we're gonna get shadow. Okay, because there are grooves in our faces. There are shapes that are gonna hit here, and they're gonna produce a shadow from underneath because it goes in. Same thing with the nose. The nose on top gonna get some hits, and then it's gonna cave in. Okay, so that's why we do kind of like shadow here, and sometimes if it's necessary we do shadows here. Sometimes that's not necessary because it depends on the face, on how much you want to make the face go in like that. Okay, same thing with ears, we can do a little bit shadow underneath the first ridge over here to get some there. Okay, so that's kind of how it works here. You can also do, if you want to, kind of shadow on the very bottom depending on how the light source is, for more dramatic purposes and stuff like that. But we're gonna do the next one. Let's do it from the side. We're gonna do the light source from the side. Okay, here also you can also choose how to do this. Remember the grooves in the face? Like I said, it goes in kind of like this, and the nose out like this. All right. But now we have to remember we also have the side, because now we're gonna get the biggest hit somewhere around there. Okay. So, just simplifying it, it will become something like this. We're gonna get shadows on this side because that's the side that's farthest away from the light source. So this will probably be all covered up. The nose points out, so we're gonna get a shadow on this side. Perhaps a little bit underneath because of the angle, like I said. It's coming like this, so we're gonna probably get a little bit underneath there, and a little bit perhaps going in to that side. So you see, we get a different kind of shadowing on here, and you can push this, you can make it more dramatic if you want to, but try to keep it to a minimum, not too much, because sometimes if you do too much, the face completely disappears, okay? And we're gonna do the last one. Let's say the light source comes from underneath. You know, like in scary movies when they put the flashlight, you know, up to the face and like, oh, it was a creepy story and stuff like that. Or maybe, you know, in a transformation scene, stuff like that, when, you know, I'm gonna go Super Saiyan and stuff like that. Now you have to remember, same thing, once again, the face, the shape is like this, but now the light is coming from underneath. So we're gonna get shadow here, and we're gonna get some shadow here. You see, even sometimes a little bit on the lip, depending on, you know, if you have powdery lips, then you're gonna get a little bit of shadow up there as well, because now we have changed it. So we're gonna get shadow here. We're gonna get some shadow perhaps here on the forehead a little bit. Maybe some things over the eyes as well. We're gonna get some shadow over here. This. Maybe push that a little bit more. And we're gonna go a little bit on the lip just to show you. Okay, and of course, now the character has no hair, so we're gonna get kind of a shadow as well over here. No, going all over. So you can see shadowing and how shadows work are very important to show how it works with the object and so. I'm gonna give you one last example as well. This is more non-conventional. It doesn't always work. So let's do a character. For instance, we're gonna do just a character here, quick. So we're gonna go and just do like so, a character. I'm gonna push him up a little bit just to make it more understandable what I am doing. Here we go. That will work like that. All right. So now we have a character, and we're gonna do some things with this character that is shadow based. So for instance, I am gonna do some mean looking eyes, and I'm gonna do small kind of eyes looking at us, like so. Maybe push that out a little bit more. Yes. Okay. So you can see this is a bad guy now. Okay, this is a very bad guy. But he doesn't look too, you know, terrifying. He doesn't look, you know, threatening. He doesn't look mysterious or anything like that. He just, you know, looks kind of grumpy, and that's not what we want to do. So a thing you can do with shadows, let's say for instance that he's standing in a, you know, big archway here. He's just standing in a doorway. Okay? And from that he comes into a dark room. So, for instance, let's do this. We're gonna boom, make this black and this side black, so we get the archway. Okay? And I'm gonna do a layer on top of the character. I'm gonna choose that and invert select, and we're gonna do a big brush. So I'm gonna paint all of him dark black. Okay, so now we have a dark character over here. I'm just gonna fix some things here. All right, I'm gonna lower the opacity so you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna go almost so you can not see the lines, but you have to see the lines, of course. And I'm gonna take an eraser and I'm gonna go just on the edge of the character, as you can see here, just about there. and on the edge, and on the shoulders, and like so. And I'm gonna take a smaller eraser and just go a little bit, showing the lines of the face, just a little bit, just on the edge. And I'm of course gonna go and remove the shadow for the eyes, because the eyes are the thing that we want to be seen. So you can see here right now, boom. And if I, raise the opacity a little bit more, you can see we get a more menacing character just stepping inside, and we only see his evil eyes looking at us. This is a way to use shadows, just to use shadows to show just kind of, the silhouette of a character, and to information that he's menacing. We don't see everything of him. We don't see all of him. We don't know what he's like, or what he looks like. Is he evil? Is he good looking? Is he ugly as hell? Or, is he kind of deformed or something? We just see the eyes. So this is a good way to, get shadows to work for you, to create some dramatic sense to the character. This can also be used in all different kinds of ways, but this is pretty much how shadows work. In the next part, I will show you some ways how I make shadows, or I shade. Okay, so I'll see you next time on the next tutorial video. Bye.